Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith. Welcome to the Grow Tent, everybody. You have found the best growing channel on YouTube, man. The place where we simplify the approach for you so everyone can learn how to grow. We make it so simple, even I can understand. So I'm going to listen and learn right now.
Woo! What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Grow Tent. We got a fantastic episode, like always, for you today. But first, we always got to do the intro. Guys, remember, if you're looking for a way to support the channel, you can always jump on the Patreon. We got our own Discord. We got some of the best growers on the internet that answer your questions 24 hours a day. You can post your pictures, share your garden, all that other jazz, and it's private. It's not open to just anybody. It's just for our Patreon members. So you don't ever feel nervous or anything like that. You can post your questions. You don't have to worry about anybody making fun of you or anything like that. They are extremely helpful community. And then I jump in there and we can do like video calls and stuff like that. So join the Patreon. It's a huge help to the channel. What else we got? If you want to grow the same equipment as me, you can find it at welcometothegrowtent.com. Not all the same equipment, but some of it. What else? Guys, if you don't know, but now you should, the channel is sponsored by Mars Hydro. If you're looking for any kind of light for your garden, you can find a discount code in the video description below. Just click that link, then type in the discount code whenever you're checking out. And you can do lights, tents, exhaust, whatever you want. You get a discount on all of it. At checkout, just type in WTTGT, all capital letters. Get you a nice little bonus discount for stuff you were going to buy anyway, and it helps out the channel. What else we got? Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, because it helps out the channel too. What else we got? Remember to watch the full video. I know not everybody watches the full video. About 60% do. But it does help out the channel, and I appreciate it. And that like button, it does actually help. The dislike button, YouTube was just like, hey, we're done with this, and they got rid of it. So I feel sorry for the haters, but if you're looking for a way to still hate on the channel because the dislike button doesn't work anymore, you can start the video, leave it, start it and leave it, start it and leave it, start and leave it. See, even the people that don't like the information or don't like the channel, I still give you some tips too. If you guys were looking for to see my other channel, I have a video or a channel where I handle ball pythons and tarantulas and stuff like that, and I'm giving away $20,000 worth of all the babies. I'm giving all the babies that I'm doing for my first year of breeding ball pythons. I'm giving them all away, which if you don't know anything about ball pythons, they can be extremely expensive depending on what you make. And of course, GT didn't make any cheap ones, so all of his snakes should be worth, $1,000 to $2,000 a piece. And we're hoping to have around 20 babies this year, and so we're giving them all away. So if you want to, and they're giving them all away for free. So all you gotta do is be a subscriber over to that channel and leave some comments on some videos. So what else we got? I think that's all for the intro, and let's get today's episode going. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's go. All right, guys. So we're back. Today's episode, we are going to talk about prepping your soil for autos versus photo periods, and we'll do the stuff that I actually do for prep for both right whenever I get the stuff, and then we're going to do, what's going on right here today? I thought that was just a shadow. Actually, my hair just kind of sticking out here on the side, looking nice. Man, I need to shave all my hair off again. We're going to talk about what I do whenever I first get the soil, and we're actually going to talk about stuff I do whenever I'm picking the bags of soil up from the store. So we're going to talk about all that stuff. What else are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about the differences, how I treat the soil versus whenever I'm doing autos or whenever I'm doing photos. Man, this is driving me crazy. It's just like this one little piece right here. Let's see what we got here. There we go. All right, come on, let's get a little bit more. We'll keep do that. Good thing I don't have my electric trimming shears up here. I take it out that way. So, all right, so that's what we're going to talk about today. First things first, whenever I go to the grow store and I'm looking at soil, I don't just be like, oh, here's the bag on the top. This is what I want, and I just grab one bag and then I leave. Even if you're not planting a bunch, I would still recommend you grab at least 2 bags, if not 3. It'll help you in the long run because it's always nice to have it on hand, for one. For two, I don't ever just be like, oh, this is the bag I want, and then I go out of the store. If I go there and the bag is like super rock hard chunked up, all right, we're back. Crisis averted. Apparently, my daughter had stole my son's book that he was reading, and she wanted to read it. So apparently, that was cue to scream like bloody murder. I might edit that out. I might leave it in. I don't know. All right, so whenever I'm at the store, I'm not going to take the bag that is just like one solid rock. Generally, if it's like that, it's had a bunch of moisture in it and then it's re-solidified. You know how like whenever you water your plants and then the soil all compacts? Generally, I don't want a bag that's just one solid formation. I have to sit there and break everything up. I don't like it. Just personal preference, not anything crazy. Will that soil still work? Of course, but if third time's a charm, kids are going crazy this morning. I don't know if they ate a bunch of donuts or sugar or something this morning, but they're going freaking nuts out there. Some days, man. All right, so if I have a choice, I'm going to pick a bag that, you pick it up and it still feels like it's a bunch of loose dirt in there. It's not like one solid brick on the inside. So that's my first things first. The next thing, if there's multiple pallets there, I'll grab a few bags. Usually whenever I'm grabbing bags, I grab, 4 or 5 bags at once and bring those home. And I don't just grab them all from the same spot. I go around to different parts. If they got different pallets, I'll grab a few different bags from a few different pallets. And it's worked out really well for me doing that. And then whenever I get home, I don't just I'm like, okay, I got this bag, now I pour it and start giving it right to my plants. I don't do that either. So whenever I get my soil, I like to get it at least 2 weeks before I'm going to use it. It's all about that prep game, like I've told y'all a bunch of times before. Be prepared and it'll always work out for you. So I like to get my soil about 2 weeks before I am going to be using it. And I don't just take it and pour the bag out into, the tubs that I dry them in. So I will take, some from, we'll just call it bag A, bag B, bag C, and bag D if I got 4 bags. And I will pour, 25% of bag A, 25% of bag B, 20, and so on and so forth into my big tub. And then I will sit there and I will mix it all together. And then I will slide it under my vents that come out of my tent to dry them. If you guys have seen me do that in the past. One of my IPMs that I do for my soil is I dry my dirt all the way out. And you'll find by drying it all the way out, while it does make it extremely hydrophobic, where it repels the water, which we can overcome that also. It does also kill any bugs or anything that were in there, and anyone that doesn't kill, like mainly we're getting rid of fungus gnats, and it does make them leave. So all the babies die and all the adults leave because the soil is so dry, and you can get rid of a problem before you ever start, and then you don't ever have to run that stupid yellow paper around your garden. What else? So just by doing that simple trick, and you're like, well, why do you mix the bags? Well, as I've said a bunch of times, guys, you ever make blueberry muffins? Whenever they're making this soil, it's not like an exact science. So some bags you get out and you're like, oh man, this bag was 4,000 ppms. I've had that in Ocean Forest before. And then some bags you get out and you're like, oh, this one's only 800 ppm runoff. Well, if you take and you mix the bags together from the start, you'll find that you won't run into those problems hardly ever again, because you're taking bags of different soil concentrations and mixing them in the same container, so it levels everything out. So it's one of the tricks I've had really, really good success whenever I am doing whenever I'm prepping my soil, is to mix the bags together. All right, we can maybe try this again. I don't know how long we'll make it. They are going freaking crazy out there. I don't know if they didn't sleep good last night. They were watching movies. I don't fucking know. We make it about 2 or 3 minutes before another explosion happens of just them going crazy. So we're going to try again. So mix your soils. You'll find that it helps out a ton. Back to my blueberry muffin explanation. If you ever eat blueberry muffins, whenever you're making them, some muffins have 30 blueberries in them. Some of them have blueberry muffins have 3 blueberries in them. It's kind of the same thing whenever they're mixing the soil. So if you take all that batter and spread it out and mix it all together, you know, hopefully it works out for you. It works really well for me, so that's just a little trick that I do. So I'll mix my soils, I buy more than I need, and then I mix them together, and then always buy them 2 weeks in advance. Hey, we made it through a fucking sentence without an explosion. So, I mean, we're heading the right direction. Holy cow. Is there differences whenever you're doing autos versus photos? Is there differences you make with the soil? There actually is a few because of the way that I grow the two plants. So whenever I'm growing photos, I don't add anything extra, and I break out the soil. So if I'm doing Happy Frog, it's just Happy Frog in the pots for all the veg. No matter how long veg is, I only put Happy Frog. I only transplant them into Happy Frog. I don't care if I'm going from solos to 1s to 3s to 5s to 7s to 10s. Don't go to 10s. But I don't care. You know, what I'm saying is, if I'm staying in veg, I am staying with Happy Frog every single time I transplant. If I'm going to, as soon as I go to flower, that is the only time I will introduce the ocean forest. Oh, sorry, I forgot one thing whenever we're talking about what I'm doing to prepare the soil before I even get to this stage. I will mix in diatomaceous earth. I don't care what brand, I don't care if it's food safe or not food safe, that doesn't matter. I'm buying some diatomaceous earth and I'm mixing it into the soil. That's the last part of my IPM treatment besides drying it out, is mixing in diatomaceous earth. It's like adding razor wire to your soil. It's completely safe for your plant, but anything with an exoskeleton, it's like razor wire to them and kills them. So you wipe out a generation, the new generation, the older generation dies off, and there's no new generation to take their place. Diatomaceous earth. All right, so back to the autos. Or back to the photos. Whenever I'm doing the photos, I don't mix anything in the, I don't mix the soils ever until I go to flower. Then in the last transplant, I'll put them in ocean forest or strawberry fields, whatever you want. I don't change the perlite count at all. So whatever the bag, I found that Fox Farms, the perlite count is pretty well, it's a pretty good ratio. Sorry for all the interruptions. All right, so where were we? We were back. We were on photos. I don't mix any extra perlite in there whenever I'm growing the photos, and I just kind of leave it as they are in the bag. The only thing I'm really doing is mixing the bags and adding the diatomaceous earth, and that's pretty much it. And then I'm, transplant ABTs. Anytime you're with photoperiods, always be transplanting. All right, so I mean, that was pretty much my fault for not silencing my phone. I mean, it is a cool, I got 5 on it, which it always is, but dude, I can't get through this freaking video. I can't get through it. I mean, it's one thing after the next, it's one interruption after the next. What a freaking Saturday. I need a bowl. All right, but my accountant's coming, so I'm trying to stay level-headed. Oh, for freak's sake. So, I mean, that's my, for photos, it's pretty simple. Just ABTs, always be transplanting. Keep your soil separate. You don't need to mix anything in the pots, and transplant them accordingly. Photos, nice and simple. Whenever I'm doing autos, I actually do a few little extra tricks. So whenever I'm doing photos or autos, I generally do, and this is dangerous, but I generally do start them in their final pot. So if I'll start a seed in a 7-gallon pot. I know you guys are like, oh my God, that's crazy. It's a little crazy, not a ton crazy, but it's a little crazy. But I will actually mix up. I will only fill up like half the pot. Okay, so I only fill up like half the 7-gallon pot full of soil. And with that half, I'm doing, the bottom half is going to be ocean forest, which will end up only being, instead of, it's 50% at the time because we're only filling up half the pot. I should get my whiteboard out. But half of it, the bottom half, I'm doing ocean forest. And then the top half, I am doing Happy Frog, where I'm putting the seed. Now, you're like, well, why are you using a 7-gallon pot if you're only filling half of it up? Well, as the plant grows, because you guys know I don't like feeding. I especially don't like feeding autos because they're very temperamental. So as the plant grows up tall, I am going to top dress in as the plant, because the first three, autos are only in veg for usually 3 to 5 weeks. So after they go into flower, I really want them to be in ocean forest. So as the plant gets taller, I am going to backfill in the top with ocean forest. And that way I've got a 25% layer of happy frog and then a 25% layer at the bottom of ocean forest. And then I'll fill in the top half. I can fill that in. This is when I'm doing 7 gallons. So if I'm doing a 7-gallon, I'm really expecting a very big auto with very big colas. And I want, the majority of my stuff to be ocean forest. Now, if you don't want to do it this way, this is a very complicated way of doing your soil. You can do it the normal way and just fill the bottom half up with 50% ocean forest, or fill the top half up with happy frog and put your seed right at the top. But people always ask me, what do you do it? Sometimes I do it a little bit different than you guys, but remember, I focus this channel for beginners, which I am not. So I always get a lot of questions like, how do you do it? So whenever I do my autos, I only fill up half the pot, and then as the plant grows, I backfill in. As the plant gets taller, eventually I will be able to backfill in all the way up to the top of the 7-gallon pot, or 5-gallon pot, 3-gallon, whatever size your tent is kind of determines how big of a pot you're going to use, and also your plant count. So like if I had one auto, I wouldn't put 3 7-gallon pots in there in a 2x4. One, it's not going to fit. Two, those plants would be ridiculously oversized for a 2x4. So, that kind of stuff. But we're getting off track. Focus, GT. Calm down. Relax. Woo! All right. So, so I probably confuse a bunch of people there. So the easiest way whenever you're doing your autos, just bottom half ocean forest, top half happy frog, and don't listen to what GT does, whenever he's doing his personal plants. Which I don't grow autos a ton, but a lot of times people send them to me because they want to see me grow autos for some reason. I guess they just like me being upset about it. So they send me autos all the time. What else we got? I will actually do something a little bit different with the perlite depending on the time of year it is. So if it's in the wintertime, I don't add any extra perlite. But if it's in the summertime, this is only with my autos. If it's in the summertime, I will actually add about 25% more perlite to my mix, because in the summertime, you do not have, or I guess if you live in a desert, this would work too. You do not have in the summertime, there's so much more humidity in the air that they don't dry out as fast. And with my autos, I don't want the water sitting in the container with the autos. I want it to dry out a slightly bit quicker. So the more perlite you add, the faster that plant will, that soil will dry out, because the perlite doesn't, soak up water. It's just the more you add, the less water it retains. So in the summertime with my autos, I will actually add about 25% more perlite to the soil mix. And I was like, God dang, 25%, that's a lot. Yeah, but with my autos in the summertime, my room sits around 65 to 70+% humidity, just because the snake's in there and it's a sealed environment, and it's in my basement, and it gets very humid here in the state that I live in. So I will actually add that to the mix of my soil just so I can get it. Otherwise, it's insane how long the pots will stay wet and heavy. And with my autos, that can be very dangerous. And if you overwater, if you stun an auto a single time, you might as well throw it out. It's game over for your yield, because with like an auto, or with a photo period, you stunt them, you lose 15% of your in yield. With a autoflower, you stun them one time, and it's pretty much game over. You lose up to 30-35% of your in yield just hurting them once. So I always tell everybody that they should start growing photos and not start growing autos. Or yeah, that's what came out right. Yeah. All right, I think that's probably it for the soil. I can't believe we finally made it through that video. That was probably one of the longest videos it took me to record, as far as just sitting down and talking with you guys. And it wasn't your fault. It wasn't my fault. It's just kids were going crazy this morning. So I appreciate you guys all watching. If you guys are members of Patreon, you guys do still get to see my my plants. I'll be dropping a video with the plants on probably, I don't know, Monday or Tuesday, usually. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, somewhere right around there, with our how to make feminized exotic bird food for your parrot. And check out my Instagram right there. Welcome to the not.com. Jesus, I'm all off today. All right, let's leave it. Everybody have a good weekend. I'll see you next time. GT. Out.